Thanks to help from the Sioux City Public Library Reference Desk, it is confirmed these scenes are of Sioux City, Iowa. The beginning is on Old U.S. Highway 20, on what was then the 2-year-old Grand Avenue viaduct, driving west and looking to the northwest. Business 20 still uses this viaduct today, but is now called Gordon Drive. If you assume the railing of this viaduct today is still the original, you can compare this view to the Google Maps Street View and see that the camera must have been using the maximum zoom lens. If you set the Google Street View to be on Gordon Drive between Steuben Street and the Floyd River and look west by northwest and zoom in all the way, you see the elevated Floyd Boulevard go over the rail yards across the scene, very similar to this film. That bridge has been replaced and was called Wall Street in 1938. The camera pans a little north, and the tallest structure in the right center of the screen appears to be the steeple of the Augustana Lutheran Church that still sits today at the corner of 6th and Court Streets. These last two scenes are still in the viaduct, but nothing has been identified yet. One or both may be looking more to the north or northwest, or since there seems to be buildings below the viaduct, the car may have turned around, and this is now heading east and looking southeast, maybe in the area of Steuben Street or Cunningham Drive. The area of the first two scenes was, and still is, crossed by several railroad tracks and bridges. But since you don't see any, and instead it looks like the crests of waves, I checked newspaper records for July 1938. I found that the floodwaters crested on July 13th for what was reported to be the worst flooding in 40 years. Since they were only a day drive from Renwick at this point, this matches my estimate that these were filmed on July 12th or July 13th. While I haven't found any specific details of the Sioux City flooding, it appears that the Floyd River had risen to cover most of the rail yards, and Aunt Lil and Uncle Bob decided to film it. Unfortunately, the guardrail blocked some of their view, but this does seem to show the center of Sioux City industry and rail in the 1930s. This sign helped place these scenes to Sioux City, Iowa. Frank G. Bean was the pastor of Grace Methodist Church between 1937 and 1943. The church is adjacent to Morningside College, which is still affiliated with the United Methodist Church today. Lil and Bob McGowan were strong Methodists and very active in the church, so they likely had a place they could spend the night in the area. This scene is probably along U.S. Highway 20 in Iowa between Sioux City and Rockwell City. The last segments of U.S. 20 in Iowa were paved in this area in